So, and then the latest sound, I'm going to put this clap on the soundboard then. Time for AEW news, folks. So, AEW World's End, they've sold 5,497 tickets for a pay-per-view, 6,315. That's a solid house for an AEW pay-per-view. Pretty sad for them. I'm going to start being, now that we're in a new era and we have the middle of the week wars, AEW versus NXT versus TNA, I'm restarting my brain, and I'm etch-a-sketching marks over here, and I am going to be super optimistic and nice to AEW. Unless they do some, then I'll clown it and whatnot. And I'll just call it down the line. But like, as far as what they draw and all this, we're going to compare it to like NXT and TNA shows, in which case they're kicking ass. Okay, guys, that's how we're doing it. So good job for doing what Dynamites used to do like a few years ago. They used to do double that. Good job for your pay-per-view doing this, okay? But honestly, five, like, they'll probably sell the 6,300 out. Solid house for them. Good job. At least the wrestling company selling 6,000 tickets. You know, Dynamite, I think tonight did pretty good though, like over 3,000. And so it also shows you though the level of where AEW's at now. It's more comparable to NXT or TNA because their Dynamites do like close to their pay-per-view attendance numbers. Like the pay-per-views don't do that much more, so eventually it'll just be the same. But this was like last week's Dynamite and Collision. They sold 1,400 tickets, you know, but they were in like a smaller venue, so good for them. Winter is Coming on December 10th, 1 week from tonight. They've sold 2,001 tickets. So again, the show that Sting debuted on, right? Wasn't Winter is Coming? Isn't that like when Sting popped the rating for them when he debuted or whatever? But the current setups for 2,300. Again, I think they're in like a smaller, or am I wrong about that? They're in a big ass venue. It looks like seats on map, 3,400. Hopefully they can draw. I mean, Joe's in a world title match with Eddie Kingston though. I mean, come on, dude. I don't think Kingston and Joe are going to draw. I don't think that's the move. So speaking of attendances and ratings and whatnot, we might have a couple more. Last week's episode of Dynamite stayed consistent with the prior week, despite being on a tougher night, Thanksgiving Eve. Dynamite averaged 512K viewers, up 4% from the prior week, with a 0.10 in the key demo. So they're posting like 400,000, I guess 500,000 is the new. This is great for us. This is normal. This is awesome. And Dave's putting it over. Oh, they actually did great. It's insane when this show used to do 900K. But hey, TNA's a player. TNA might start doing 300 to 500K. So, I mean, I guess it's good for the middle of the week wrestling wars. You guys know what I'm saying? I'm optimist Phil here. What can I say? As always, these numbers do not include the HBO Max simulcast. Year over year, Dynamite was down 5% in total viewers, with the 18 to 49 rating was down 33%. And I implore everybody to listen to Eric Bischoff and Raj Giri on 83 Weeks. I implore everyone to listen to how Raj sort of explains to Eric, oh, come on now, Eric, how the big panel plus data ratings work. Exactly. Yeah, a lot. They explain how you can't really track some of this, but I don't want to hear the excuses. Like, the ratings are the ratings, and all the other sports leagues are super happy that they're doing big panel plus data or whatever. So I just listen to Raj break down if you want to understand like why he always says this. Oh, it was using last year's ratings, so maybe they did a little better or worse. But here's the thing that I want to put Dynamite over for though. Last year, they were only up 5% on Thanksgiving from this year's. I mean, we've seen them year over year down 60%. And so like this year we've seen crazy numbers like that. So this is like, okay, only down 5. Okay, people are busy on Thanksgiving, or they're not watching AEW. They're watching, you know what I mean? You could argue that. But the key demo was down 33%. I mean, this is where Dave got 30% on streaming now. It's just inevitable. Yeah, but on Thanksgiving, was everybody streaming Dynamite on their Macs or whatever? I don't believe that. I don't really buy into it. But We have more attendance here. So Dynamite, January 21st, 1,600 people. They're in a big ass building with suites and shit. And they drew 1,600 people. Now, this is like 2 months away, but still, 2,700 is what it's set up for. They're not expecting to do much. Total seats are 8,000. So again, they're filling fucking an eighth, a quarter of the building, maybe, if they reach 2,000 tickets. It's like, come on, man. But their tickets are $30. So go get those cheap wrestling tickets right now, man. Because that's what Tony wants everybody to do. So more attendance tonight. So this is tonight's Dynamite, dude. 3,380. So the seats on map are 5,644. So that's not bad. Like, they did a house tonight. Good for them in Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indianapolis. India is what we're going with. Indy Hartwell. So yeah, dude, they got Okada and Pac, Moxley versus Castagnoli. $30 a ticket. Go see us some Dynamite. And yeah, 3,300. I mean, this was the update from 2 days ago as well. So I'm sure they sold the 3,600. The seats are only 5,600. So there's 2,000 empty seats roughly. I mean, maybe that's an L, but like, okay, like fucking drawing something, a little bit of something, you know? And that for an AEW, like, damn, that's only 2K. That extra 2K is what the pay-per-view is doing. Tony Khan, man, he can't help but to cope over shit. And before we get into his cope, he says they're closing the gap. And it's like, what gap, man? What gap? Like the gap in everyone's wallets, the gap in everyone's fucking attention spans because they're shutting this shit off. What do you mean? What gap are you talking about that you're closing? But what we essentially had was a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy afoot. Okay? What happened was, and I wanted to put this in the title, but I also didn't spend time bookmarking each and everything because it kind of just got swept under the rug and no one talked about it. Tony Khan pretty much had the dirt sheets sweeping and releasing fake, false fucking results for Collision. And we had let me see this. Someone sent all this to me and I didn't mean to just like gloss over it, and I wanted to make a bigger deal, but I'm like, there's so much other more pressing shit like TNA, like, okay, the dirt sheet sweep for AEW, we fucking know. But basically what happened was people released a bunch of these fake spoilers. And so this is a DM I got. The Sickos, this is from someone who's legit, okay, who fucking is just chronicles tons of shit, is on point with their takes, predicts a bunch of shit. This is someone on point, and they hit me up with a bunch of screen grabs, and they're the spoilers from the taping of Collision. And they go, the Sickos are protecting Collision spoilers from Dynamite Dave now by sending conflicting reports. Last night on the Observer Radio, Dave said he was shocked he hadn't had one person email him Collision spoilers. So what? Dave protecting Collision spoilers? How did he not have one person? Or are the Sickos in attendance there? Either Dave's not leaking them, protecting AEW, or the Sickos there are telling Dave, no, we're not going to tell them to you. At every show, Dave just puts out a tweet or whatever. He knows someone who's going to DM him results all night for the shows and talk about, oh, the crowd was hot for this and they weren't hot for that and they seem like this kind of crowd. That's what he does. And then he does reports as if he was in the fucking building because he's a clown. And so this guy goes on to say, these nerds are taking these tournament spoilers very seriously. Geez, I wonder if IWGP champion Takeshita will lose to Roddy Strong. You know what I'm saying? And so I need to keep this. Yeah, so I'm pulling these up here. And there was a post. OMFG, did Tony get these Sickos to send fake Collision results to Dynamite Dave to protect spoilers? Right? So we said, head over here. It's Meltzer Said What over here made this post. Okay. And this was sent to me. Did the Sickos send fake Collision results to Dynamite Dave to protect spoilers for the Continental Classic? And it's like, whoa, dude, I think they might have done that. And so Meltzer Said What post this. Ian Carey, we've received multiple, there's an update on this report. We've received multiple conflicting reports regarding the result of Takeshita versus Roddy Strong. What do you mean? Like, obviously Takeshita isn't going to beat or isn't going to lose to Roddy Strong. Like, it's just craziness. Or if he does, like, whatever the fuck. But Meltzer said what got DM saying these sickos are protecting Collision spoilers from Dynamite Dave now. They're sending conflicting reports. Last night, Observer Radio, Dave said he was shocked he didn't have one person send it. These nerds are taking these tournament spoilers very seriously. Geez, I wonder if IWGP champion Takeshita will lose to Roddy Strong. So Meltzer said what here, just showing the DMs and stuff. I guess I was trying to be fucking private with it. I didn't realize he made a whole post about this, but Tony Khan posted, it's apparent that those Collision spoilers about tonight's show were fake news. It's just my opinion. I think it's an example of why I don't believe every rumor I see online. Why are you even commenting on this? You phone Dave Meltzer. This is a week after Brian Alvarez is sitting there saying, Tony actually talks to reporters. And now you're just blowing up their spot, Tony, and saying, I don't believe any of these dirt sheets. Bro, you call them on the fucking phone, cuz. What are you talking about? And he goes, how can top sites get multiple match results wrong posting spoilers as news on a network TV show? Ask your Uncle Dave, dude. Why are you phoning him, telling him the results? And then why the fuck is he not? Why did he go, no one's reporting them to me? Bro, there was like a fucking coup to have these results protected. I'm telling you, there was some weird shit. Now, is that a little Alex Jonesy to go that far? Maybe, but like, fuck, would you be surprised? Like it looks like that's what's happening. So I don't know, man. They're just trying to protect results. And then Tony Khan goes, by the way, I thought the Thanksgiving Collision show tonight was one of the best episodes of this year. If you didn't see it yet, it's on tomorrow. Or it's on at whatever the fuck tonight. And yeah, it just seems like sickos and people are trying to like protect results, which is fine. I'm actually for that. But Tony, don't the same week that Brian's like, Tony actually stooges to guy. Tony actually calls us and talks to journalists. What's wrong with that? Shouldn't your job be to try and get the scoops? And it's like, yeah, but that's not, Dave didn't phone Tony on the air. Tony phoned Dave. And this is coming off the backs of fucking Trying Brian saying all the women came to us. A bunch of people came to us backstage after the Tegan Knox walkout. Everybody came to us talking shit. And then this is the same week that Brian goes, what did he say? I just said it before, but pretty much it's fucking, it just doesn't look good. And Tony can't be now this is why I don't believe in dirt sheets is what he's saying, but he's not. Then call out Dave. The fuck? Like, call out these guys who are doing shit, who have been perpetrating this across the board for years. You're not going to do that, though. So it just seems white knightish and very faux. And Tony is just talking out of his ass here 100%. Otherwise, he'd call out other shit. Oh, I did have this bookmarked. Okay, so that's good. But it's super cringe that that's what Tone's doing. And ultimately, he's trying to close this gap. Okay? And I don't know if it's like the gap in Meltzer's, like where his hair's parting on the top. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but he thinks they're closing a gap, and maybe he thinks it's with WWE, but he's working really hard to not let spoilers leak out there. So Tony says that this has been an awesome year for AEW. We're the challenger brand in pro wrestling, and I think we've really closed the gap in a very meaningful way in 2025 in a number of key metrics. This was a big year for us because we've been doing wrestling every Wednesday night on TBS. Yeah, that's been every year. Every Saturday night on TNT for many years. Talking like he's been in the game for like a decade. Minimum. But we also added millions of new homes that can reach AEW this year with AEW on HBO Max. There's many reasons why 2025 has been a tremendous year for AEW, and most of all, it comes down to the fans. Whether you're watching on TV or streaming or coming to the show in person like tonight, everybody has come together. The wrestlers, the staff, and the fans. And they've made this just an awesome year for AEW. So I'm really proud of what we're doing here, huh? So He's proud of it. He thinks they're closing a gap. All the while, like, you have Amazon refunding all the pay-per-views for the last pay-per-view, and you have Tony Khan desperately plastering billboards outside of Survivor Series with Dynamite. Fucking, so again, they want to, like, where's any sickos? They're just like, great play, genius, get him, boss man, cook, goat. But meanwhile, it's like, if WWE did this, you assholes would be crying. If TNA did this, you guys would be roasting TNA and like, why are you coming at AEW, bro? But Tony, so they're always the victim until they do shit like this. And Tony thinks he's closing the gap. And it's like, on what? On TNA? They're closing the gap on you, asshole. And so Dynamite endings keep getting cut off on YouTube TV. And again, Brian and Dave Meltzer, Dave Feltzer, fucking have emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
And they're falsely copyright striking channels like mine, like Redax, instead, and they don't even know how to use YouTube TV or how to just watch their favorite show that they shill for. Fucking, they can't figure out how to do that properly over on YouTube. And I don't know what gap Tony Khan thinks he's closing. And that was the first portion of AEW news. We have tons more. Let me check in. We have a super chat here. Chris McCarty 71284 for 2 says Okada is in a tournament for a title he gave up. I know. It's just uninspired fucking it's just Drek. Nobody cares. Like, everyone's not, like, people are just not caring about this as much. You know? It's must be said. And I even put AEW over for having that little bump in the 5%, but it's like, okay, year over year, like, maybe that's just around the number that's going to be watching AEW in general on Thanksgiving because people are in the house. Maybe that's an indicator of, like, people were just in the house on Thanksgiving. Like, we could play this any which way, but I think more and more people are caring less and less about AEW. In many ways. And Okada giving up a title, or giving up his title, but he didn't even necessarily give it up. Chris McCarty, he didn't even necessarily give up the title. It's just, well, he kind of, like, it's up for grabs in this fucking tournament, but he's got to win this tournament to sort of capture it back, even though he's the unified champion. But the unified title actually encompasses 2 titles, and so one of them can be separate at separate times or whatever. It's just stupid, and this is the stuff that doesn't work. And say what you will, in TNA, they do the shit that works. Okay, they're telling stories, they're getting you invested in characters. And now look at what's happening for them. So NXT, TNA, AEW, that's the new comparisons, and the only comparisons we'll be making. WWE sometimes, like when Tony Khan says we're closing the gap. Okay, the gap to what? Certainly not WWE. That's just complete and utter cope. So let's move along here. We have Tony Khan Cringe. We have updates. We have things that happen throughout the week. And let's get into it. So here is Julia Hart just botching a moonsault. And she's always thrown these moonsaults stiff. She always looks like she's getting hurt on them. I made the joke, Vader's fucking moonsaults hurt less than these ones. And again, remember when Dave Meltzer criticized Stephanie Vaquer for the crowd chanted one more time, one more time, one more time. And he said, oh, they're just so pre-programmed there in WWE that she didn't do it one more time. And then we go to the cage match, and Sky Blue and Julia Hart, there's a situation where someone goes through the table, but they don't go through the table, and the crowd chants one more time, and then they don't do it. And Dave never criticizes it and goes, oh, well, did you know that? Guys, there's 206 watching. There's only 57 likes. Run those on the YouTube channel. Run them up to 100, okay? I know that 206 of you, 150 more of you can hit fucking like, or at least 50 more of you hit like, you sons of bitches. Anyways, so Julia Hart, right? She doesn't go through the table, or whoever didn't go through the table, and then, you know, the crowd chants one more time and nobody does the one more time, and Dave doesn't criticize, oh, it's pre-programmed in AEW, Brian. Now watch this. How pre-programmed is this as well? To just spot, move. Everyone plans out the whole match. If you don't do the dance routine exactly, then there's no calling it in the ring or adjusting or doing anything better. That's all I see in AEW. I got to be honest. The majority of matches are like this, where it's move, 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 move. And in WWE, this is why the refs are botching. That wasn't supposed to be the finish. The ref should call it as a shoot. I don't even want the ref to know the finish. Fuck you. They should just know who's going over. Call it like a shoot. And if the fucking person in the ring doesn't kick out, just call it. I don't care if it's for the title or not. Fuck all that. Why should the refs know spot, 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 spot? And you can tell now the refs are like, oh, this spot is supposed to come next, and this wasn't the finish. Why do you know what spot's supposed to happen at the fucking finish? Like, so stupid. But again, Dave Meltzer doesn't talk about the pre-programmed AEW PWG style of wrestling of spot, this happens, and you can even see Willow's just waiting here. Sky Blue's just waiting here. They're all just waiting. Everyone's just waiting for the moonsault.
Please don't kill Harley.
From the top, and she
lands on her feet, does a little splash, and then what does Sky Blue do? She just walks in front of the pin. Look at this shit.
From the top, and she
and I'm not trying to bury Julia or Sky Blue. Like, Julia should not be doing this moonsault. She just shouldn't. Change your finisher if you can't do it correctly. Guys, in the back in AEW, she clearly can't do it correctly. Clearly, she cannot do it. So stop making her fucking do this move. Holy shit. Someone just be honest. Oh, is it because she's a hot girl and you're a fucking simp? You don't want to hurt her feelings? Shut the fuck up and tell her how to, or not, don't shut up. Pipe up and tell her how to do her fucking job. Tell her to not do that fucking move. Who the fuck is not telling her not to do that move? It's like the 100th time she's botched it. And I love Julia Hart. I like Sky Blue too. I like Willow. I like Harley Cameron. Look at this. So she just stands there with all this. Look at the ref looking to the side waiting for Willow.
Oh my God!
Wow. That was very...
And then she just knocks her into her lazily. And you mean to tell me that's not pre-programmed shit, Dave? Like, where's your criticisms for that? It's fucking crazy, man. So speaking of the women's roster, Lacey Lane, a.k.a. Kaden Carter, has officially signed with AEW. Good for her. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with her at all. And we got some more Cringe here, so we'll just go through some of this stuff. MJF met up with Lalani Kai, who's been showing up at like NXT. She's on a Legends deal. She's been showing up at NXT house shows, and she met up with MJF there. And she also met up with, I think, Powerhouse Hobbs. So that's good. I don't know if they were all at a convention or what, but it's good to see her showing love. And clearly she's a big, big fan of pro wrestling to this day. And came up in a way different time where, you know, shit was much different as far as how you got your break as a woman in wrestling. And so speaking of catching breaks here, Netflix's new bid to buy Warner Bros. Is mostly a cash offer. This, according to Bloomberg. The company is arranging a mega loan to be able to buy WB. There's also reports coming out, like in the entertainment spheres, that people are going to try and prevent and block this Netflix sale. Like, it's too much. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, Netflix can't own all of this shit. Like, that's where we're getting into monopoly territory. They're going to own all of WB's, like, legacy content and shit. I just don't know if people are going to be down with that. If Netflix buys WB, they'll own like 5% of AEW. And let's say they have TNT and TBS. I don't even see them necessarily canceling AEW entirely, but it just won't exist in the form that we know it. But speaking of which, Booker T refers to AEW as a retirement spot. If a wrestler's looking to wrap up their career, and he goes, I just wish they had AEW around when I was doing this thing, man. And I'm like, dude, they did. It was called TNA. Oh, thank you. And he's like, Ric Flair's still under contract from what I've been hearing. Yeah, dude, Rita Chatterton and shit. Like, it's weird, man. They just sign people up. I'd way rather be on a WWE Legends deal. The optics are way better. Speaking of WWE Legends and optics, Paul Wight comments on potentially wrestling again in the future. He says he isn't ready to hang up the boots yet. And he says it's just a week-by-week thing. I had a small back surgery done a couple of months ago. I've had like a major surgery every freaking year for about the past 5. So, guys, I point this out too, and people don't want to admit this, but You guys, and I'm not sitting here trying to be insensitive towards people's injuries either, but do you guys notice how everyone goes to AEW, they get shitloads of money, Tony Khan's their best friend, and then all of a sudden Kyle O'Reilly needs neck surgery on this move he's been doing for his whole career, but now it's built up and he's so banged up he needs surgery. He's gone for a year. Adam Cole's all fucked up. Big Show goes to AEW and gets 5 surgeries over the last 5 years he's been there. It's like, whoa, dude, yeah, Booker T's not wrong. It's a fucking retirement spot for people to go and get their surgeries and get a bunch of money. They won't. It's for the Hurt Syndicate to be 50 and make close to what they were making in WWE or more and retire there and live out their 60s and their old age and fucking just milking this guy for as much money as possible. He's a money mark. I don't care what Stinkashay has to say. Stinkashay's out there fucking bragging on X to people. They're just mad that we're making more money than ever and we get more days off than ever. How much money's Tony Khan making? The best guy's Tony Khan. How many days is he getting off? Oh, none. He has more days on than he did before and he's losing money. That's called a fucking money mark. And that's why you're marking it. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying about it, okay? You just explained how and why he's a money mark.
Stupid idiot.
What that means. So, yeah, Big Show wants to come back. Good for him. I say we get a Jericho reunion. One day. Someday soon. The Saudis will want to see Big Show in Saudi Arabia. And so that'll happen. Speaking of injuries, though, and weird contract situations and whatnot, Roosh is working through a bad knee. This according to Tryon Bryan here, okay? And so Roosh is working with a bad knee, allegedly, and he made it worse. He'll be evaluated in the next week or so and almost certainly undergo surgery. Dralistico suffered injuries to his ears in 2 different matches. He worked through it, but eventually it became too painful, and he's told he needs surgery to fix it. So, like, none of these luchas they bring in can stay healthy. And, like, I love Roosh and shit, but, like, what the fuck is going on in this company with women and luchas, man? I've been calling this out for 2 years here. And so this happened where Roosh, his Facebook, he posted earlier today saying that he signed an AEW contract. Okay. So today he posts this. I started a new chapter in my personal and professional career. People doubted I could make it today. I want to say that I'm 100% AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, fans. And thank my LFI brothers. We can now rule the wrestling world. This is from 23, though. I started a new chapter in my personal. It's a copy and paste post on his account with the same video. What happened? Did someone hack his shit? It's his official account. Is it glitching out? Is Meta glitching out like Twitter? All these apps are glitching out now. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. And so for some reason, did he re-sign and just do a copy and paste? Did they schedule this post on his other social media, but they scheduled it for 2 years in advance and fucked up or something? Who knows? It's weird. I don't know if Roosh re-signed anything, but I would just say a social media glitch. Speaking of signings and Big Show, Paul Wight believes former WWE star Bishop Dyer would be a great heel for AEW. I disagree. I think Bishop Dyer, he rules. Skyscrapers rule in MLW. They would rule in TNA. They'll be way more effective in one of these companies. In fact, I've heard rumors from guys who book indies and shit that Corbin and fucking Dijak, them doing the Skyscrapers thing is like, they're hoping that, and this could all be bullshit. This is just rumors I'm fucking hearing, but this is like, hey, this could get us back. This is a main roster type of act, maybe not called the Skyscrapers or maybe called the Skyscrapers, but like Corbin and Dijak. I love it. I think they need to keep running with that. Sure, go have singles matches or do whatever, do your own things. You have your own careers, but no, I don't think Corbin, they would just bury him. They'd put him in the Death Riders or some shit. And yes, because he's a bald white guy. They would just stick him in the fucking Death Riders or something. I swear to God, they would be terrible if he went to AEW. And like, I hope Corbin gets money and shit. I'm not trying to hate on that, but what would they do with him? Like absolutely nothing. And he's one of these guys that, other than that finishing move, the end of days, like Sickos clown on wrestlers like Corbin and Ridge Holland and these guys. They fucking got clowned on for being, they're just characters and they're just gimmick acts and they do comedy shit, or they're just like they're just big guys, like they wrestle decent, but they're just generic and shit. Corbin got a lot of that shit too, other than his finisher, and then when he did the happy Corbin shit. But a lot of people hated on Happy Corbin too. A lot of people in the IWC were hating on that and saying it was cringe. And like, that's what you're doing with Corbin and shit. I would just say, skyscrapers, keep doing your thing in MLW. In TNA, they would rock. In WWE on the main roster, the skyscrapers would fucking rule. They need that right now. They need more tag wrestling in WWE. They need more fleshing out of the characters in the tag teams, instead of just like, here's a tag team, here's a team, here's a team, here's the Viking Raiders. Whenever they are here, they're just kind of like biker guys now. Like, we need more than that, man. We need more. And Corbin and Dijak are guys where we know that they can cut good promos and shit, and they got size and they're believable and they got this new act, and I'm pushing for them to go WWE main roster. Just sign them back up. Speaking of tag teams, Tony Khan states that the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships could be defended in promotions outside of AEW. And it's like, he had no plans. He had no fucking plans for these belts, did he? Absolutely zero plans for this fucking belt, for these belts. Speaking of zero plans, they dropped this commercial, and it's the Young Bucks. Well, it's an ad. Maybe we'll circle back to that, actually. Let's go to ROH Final Battle, Women's World Television Championship, Monet versus Red Velvet. Monet's going to win that shit. Red Velvet's coming back from like an injury or whatever. She was the champ before, I think, or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know, but Monet, they're doing what they're trying to do in AEW is she's losing the big one for the AEW world title, because the original plan was for sure she just wins all the belts, but people just clowned that and sniffed it out and called it out so long ago, where Tony's like, okay, she'll keep losing to the world champ and then she'll just eventually win it. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's better than them just like giving her that belt right away and they're kind of milking it and making something out of it. I mean, that's all right, but hopefully Monet drives some eyeballs to Ring of Honor, because nobody really gives a fuck. And they're trying, like Nigel McGuinness has challenged Lee Moriarty for the ROH Pure Championship at Final Battle. And again, Moriarty's had this belt forever. He's a young prospect that they didn't build in AEW. Like, how the fuck is that not like a regular guy on your show that you built? It's crazy. You don't hear Brian Alvarez crying about, oh, Lee Moriarty, fucking push him, he's ready. Like, they're just trapped in this infinite abyss that is ROH. And Tony now, instead of trying to get people hyped about Collision, he's just like, oh, let's get people hyped on ROH and let's send a bunch of guys down there. I don't know. Or like, obviously Monet's going to go down there, but like, is she really going to help Ring of Honor? Maybe some more eyeballs, maybe to help boost the attendance for their show that they have upcoming. But the Final Battle goes down, and you have Athena versus Persephone. Like, look at how many matches on this ROH card too, which I'm kind of okay with. Like, here's the thing, and I said this a long time ago, Tony Khan should just be booking ROH, and he should be just treating AEW like a super indie, just a pay-per-view every 3-4 months. And you just do like a super indie card. And that's sort of what he does with ROH. And I kind of like it. Like, it makes sense. I tune into these ROH, like whenever it's like Final Battle or Death Before Dishonor, I throw it on. I make sure I consume it, And Athena versus Persephone. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, all of these matches are just like cool indie matches. So Monet versus Velvet. Awesome. Survival of the Fittest. Lee Moriarty versus Nigel McGuinness, Ricochet versus nobody knows, but it's for the AEW national title. So Ricochet, man, they just give him, he butt kisses Tony Khan, licks butthole, fingers booty holes to try and get himself over online. They reward him with this NWA ripoff title that they're hiding in fucking Ring of Honor immediately, and Ricochet gets to go to Ring of Honor Final Battle. Some reward, huh? You have Guevara. What's this match here? So Guevara, who definitely is still being punished. No, he's on a card with Monet, but I bet they'll be miles apart. But Adam Priest and Tommy Billington taking on Beast Mortis and Sammy Guevara. And it's crazy that Guevara is teaming with Mortis and is in a group with Mortis, who's dating the girl that he said he would grape. Or like, oh, you see her and you just want to grape her. He was making a joke. I don't think he should have been all like canceled and they made him do like a sensitivity training. It's like, all right, that's just corporate, whatever. And I wouldn't say that. I would never say, oh man, that girl's so hot, I just want to grape her. That's like such a crazy sicko. I get why the sickos love Guevara, right? I get it. It's just such like a fucking extreme thing, you know? But he was also just trying to say like, oh, like he was joking though. Was it funny? Not really, but he was joking, so I give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's what Patrice O'Neal said, the GOAT. Patrice O'Neal said back in the day, like, how many bad grape jokes lead to a grape? You know, he said that on the news famously, and he's right, you know? So I'm not like, people put way too much heat on Guevara for that shit. But what he did say was like, it's kind of cringe at that time, but at this time in 2025, he's teaming with Mortis, who's fucking dating Monet. Kind of funny, kind of weird how AEW is like a parody of wrestling. I don't know. It's so odd how they do that. And like, why? Do they think people are going to talk about this on the internet? Like, did they mean to do that? Is it to try and kibosh rumors? Well, fuck, I don't know. Tony just finds himself in these weird, peculiar situations, man, all the time. But Shane Taylor Promotions take on Skyflight, winner of Diana Aminata versus winner of Starks versus Sakazaki. And then Drain Bamager, this is stacked as hell. It's pretty stacked, I guess, for ROH. Speaking of stacked and outside of AEW, because the AEW titles, the national title, and this is how you know Tony Khan has too many belts. His AEW national fucking title gets created, and they crown a national champs quicker than they crown, or a national champ rather, quicker than they crown a fucking women's tag champs, even though they announced the women's tag champs first. And then fucking the AEW national titles on ROH. And then Tony, we just read it before, Tony said that the AEW women's tag titles will be defended in other promotions outside of AEW. And it's like, you had no plans for either of these fucking belts. This is the proof you introduced two belts that you didn't fucking need. You already have too many belts. And this is further proof of that, because you have your two latest belts being defended in other shit and no focus. Wouldn't you want to create a belt and then focus on it on the TV show? You create an AEW national title. Wouldn't you want to focus on that on your nationally televised fucking television program? Holy shit, you know? But instead, it's like, oh, it's going to ROH and there's more hype on it over there. So, speaking of more hype and being outside of AEW, Claudio Castagnoli has defeated Gran Guerrero to become the new CMLL World Heavyweight Champion. And he just ended the 3+ year long reign of Gran Guerrero. Claudio did. So good for Claudio. I'm a Claudio guy. He doesn't just set he doesn't just set the bar. He is the bar. Okay. And he stifled, you know, Gran Guerrero's 3+ year long reign. So congrats to him. And again, man, you go to AEW so that you can wrestle other places and win their titles for a bunch of money, or so that you can just chill at home or go act and shit like MJF and Cope. They just take off whenever I'm going to go act for a bit. I'll be back whenever. Fuck you guys. Or you go there when you just want to get your little nagging injuries taken care of. Now, I'm not saying this is all South Park, by the way. None of these people are real. I'm not even real. None of these characters, that's not Claudio, right? These are all characters who look like people. If it's all coincidence, right? If these are, but this is South Park, but this is the upside down, folks. But Kyle O'Reilly, like this movie's been doing his whole career. All of a sudden, he took it once wrong, and then he went and got it taken care of and chilled at home with. And it was around the time of the birth of his kid, and or to hang out with his kid. Maybe not the birth of his kid, but it was, or I think it was the birth of his kid. Yeah, it's like, really, dude? Or is that just like a nagging because you've been doing that move and it's nagging? You just went and got to take care of. Like, the boys don't got to stooge themselves. I'll do it. I'll pull the curtain back for you guys, okay? But like, that's obviously, these guys go there, they get their 5 surgeries taken, Big Show, they get their 5 surgeries taken care of that they needed, right? They go there and they take their time off, they make their money. It's a money mark. It's all good. But I am glad that Claudio like set an accolade like that, I guess, or put an end to such a 3-year-long CMLL, like in the history books of wrestling. That's fucking awesome. And shout out Claudio. I'm glad he was able to pull that off, But speaking of outside of wrestling, we have some Dave Meltzer or outside of AEW. We're not talking outside of wrestling. We're talking outside of real wrestling, pals, the World Wrestling Entertainment. This story breaks, and Dave Meltzer is flipping up his tune here, okay? And so this is another Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week a little bit here. It's like we're just weaving him into this show again like we used to. Yeah, so Dave Meltzer's being a dummy here. And so when Dave first talked about Tanahashi and Nakamura and all that, basically, and we covered it here on Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts in the audio form. DMDW, we talked about DMDMW rather. DW, that's Darkwing Duck. We talked about how Dave Meltzer, pretty much said that Shinsuke wants to do the match and Tanahashi wants to do the match, but I mean, WWE has the final say. You guys remember me talking about that? I know you do. And then all of a sudden he switches up his tune, man. And Dave Meltzer says that while New Japan using Shinsuke would have hurt their relationship with AEW, it would also be damaging to their long-standing partnership with CMLL. So at first, Dave, and I called him out. I'm like, how does Dave know this? Did he fucking call Shinsuke and Tanahashi on the phone? Did Shinsuke tell Dave they both want to do this? Or did Tanahashi call Dave and say, yeah, Shinsuke-san told me that he wants to do this? Like, how would Dave know that they both want to do this? Okay. So now he's just switching up the tune. And he goes, the basic gist of the story is... So now you got the basic gist and none of that bullshit you were talking before was the basic gist. Okay, Dave. Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura, but New Japan's longest partner is CMLL, and CMLL is now in a war with WWE and AAA in Mexico, with WWE owning AAA. Brian, I don't believe that. I don't believe that they're in a war with WWE and AAA as far as like they have Arena Mexico down. So like they don't got to worry about shit, but AAA is like selling tickets. They're getting WWE superstars there. So maybe CML is sweating them a little bit and maybe they're taking the hype. I know my buddy JJ is like, dude, CMLL gives away all their tickets. So if Dave wants to talk about how good they're doing, they give away their fucking tickets. They just paper every house. They own the arena, But so Dave has this to say, except Brian, actually, it's like actually if they used Nakamura and would work. If they used Nakamura and worked with WWE to put a WWE guy in the main event of their biggest show of the year, then it's kind of a slap in the face to both AEW and CMLL. And that's not something that they are willing to do. So he does say it at the end. But Dave right there trying to pretend that it's not because of AEW. And Tony Khan going, no, please use Okada. Why didn't they put a CMLL guy? Why didn't they put Gran Guerrero in the main event with Tanahashi-san? He tried to, for a minute there, Dave did. He tried to say, well, it's because of the partnership with CMLL and not AEW. But then at the end, he does go, that's like... It's kind of a slap in the face to both AEW and CMLL. But Dave tried to twist and spin the narrative that, well, I mean, because of AAA, it would be a slap in the face to CMLL primarily. That's the gist of the story, but like AEW kind of too at the end, I'll say that here. Just fucking protecting Tony and shit and flip-flopping around what he has to say because he's just a full of shit con man, false copyright striking fucking loser. Now, it's hard to make sense of all of this shit at times. And we talked about titles being defended elsewhere, but AEW's fucking up because their own titles are being defended when in tournaments, their own tournaments. So they unified the fucking titles, the Continental and the International titles. Okada becomes the unified champ, and then all of a sudden the Continental titles on the line in the Continental Classic, and it's being defended, and the winner gets just the Continental title, not the unified or international title, even though there's a unified title. They're two separate titles, and oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. So Brian, the email that falsely copyright struck me was a figure 4 online whatever the fuck. So fuck F4W2 for life. That's F4 for life, brah, in my book. But, you know, I guess if Okada, they're saying here, if he doesn't make it out of the group stage, he also loses the unified belt, which encompasses the international belt. So now the Continental Classic's also for the international belt? Or is it just for the Continental and unified, but then Okada keeps the international? I don't know. Lex Luger, what's the answer? I don't fucking know either. Scott Steiner, what do you got to say? Oh, come on. That's not very fair, Scott. But like, I have no clue what the fuck is happening here, or how Tony justifies any of this in his head, how he doesn't realize this is convoluted, how nobody backstage wakes him up to this shit. It's because he's a money mark. They're all just happy collecting their goddamn checks. It's just that simple. It's just that fucking simple.
So let's talk about
And at
Okada.
least these guys will call it out, but like, I'm never giving Brian or Dave the benefit of the doubt. Even if they agreed with what I was saying, every single word of what I had to say about something, we agreed 100%. I would call myself retarded and log off for a few days. Okay. I swear to God, that's how little I value their opinions now, if I didn't already.
And these belts he has.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Okada is still wearing the International Championship.
Yes.
This is one of the flags on it.
Correct.
He is no longer the Continental Champion. He had to.
I already think that's not true.
That's how bad this is. That's bad. If TNA did this, Brian and Dave would be like, oh, TNA, or I guess that's Tony Khan, but Tony Khan would be doing that too. He'd be texting that to Dave, but they'd be like, oh, you know, TNA. I mean, TNA is going to TNA. Am I right, Bri? Remember when Brian's saying that TNA is always going to TNA? At what point does tone always tone?
Hey.
I mean, I could be wrong. I presume that he is still the Continental Champion until such time comes that he does not win the tournament. I guess it doesn't matter.
If he does not make it out of the group stage, he also loses the Unified Championship.
Yes, that is correct.
That is one of the most ludicrous sentences I've ever heard uttered on a wrestling show.
It is ridiculous.
As of right now, he is the International Champion and the Continental Champion, and thus also
if this was NXT, Bri would be going, this is the worst show I've ever seen. If it was fucking TNA, he'd be like, TNA's gonna TNA, But instead, he's just like, well, yeah, it is pretty ridiculous, you know?
A champion.
The weird thing is he didn't come out with the unified belt. He only came out with one belt. So maybe he doesn't know what's going on either. That's possible.
You know what?
Great.
It certainly is.
Best Booker of the year. Fucking Booker of the year. Give it to him. Booker of the
guys, Tony Khan.
You can get on AEWshop.com, including you can pre-order the new unified title, even though there may not be a unified champion at all in a few weeks.
Worst marketing ever. Worst marketing department. Worst merch department. They have QT Marsh or Colt Cabana doing the commercials for the fucking. Hey man, you know everybody fucking hates on Colt Cabana now, right? Like, you know, fucking. I get that, like, you guys like him in that company, but like, you guys know that everybody thinks he's a dickhead now, right? Like, no one wants to see that guy. Where's the fucking stars from your TV show? Shilling the fucking belts and all this stuff. And how you can pre-order these titles when there's not going to be a unified champ. And again, man, it has to do with the poor marketing. Check out my Patreon, guys. Brilliant marketing over here. Added a fucking tier and a bunch of new perks. And go and check that out. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. You guys can support this channel by hitting like, subscribe, super chatting in, or gifting a membership. If you get a membership or a Patreon ship, I don't know. I do a bonus show every fucking week. Okay. And they rule. So, But speaking of poor marketing, they also dropped these toys. ShopAEW.com, bring the boom with the new AEW U2's vinyl figures featuring the Rizzler, AJ Bufumo. Now, here's something that no wrestling pod is likely going to fucking talk about, okay? The big boom guys are falling off just in general, too. They are not popular. No one watches their live stream. Their videos don't go viral. They do the Costco videos and they get some views. And then they do like, hey, we're ripping Pokemon cards, and they don't get views for that shit. And they're getting clowned on now. They always have, okay? But they're getting clowned on now by like other YouTube spheres where people are just sort of making fun of these guys, and how like this video came out. I can't find it, but basically this video came out of AJ Bufumo recently as well, how he makes these videos. And it's super fucking cringe. And like them sitting there and him telling him and the kid, like, no, quickly say the line like this and do it this way. And like you have other channels now, like sort of like A-log and like trashing these guys and making fun of them. Even like, who are these podcasts for roasting them and shit. And they're sort of entering lolcow territory. And it's like Hawk Tua type shit, which of course that was what was going to happen. Like, what did you think was going to happen? They're becoming LOLs, like just on the internet in general. They always have been, but like now more so than ever. And I want to try and find this AJ Bufumo behind the scenes video. And now they're dropping these U2's toys, and they're so late. Like they've come out so late. Yes, dude, we have him addressing the controversy. I'm going to pull both of these up, and we're going to do a little big boom action. Basically, there's this video where is it? I bet you they're trying to scrub it and shit, because I can find them addressing the video, but I can't find the actual video of them being cringe and him just like, oh, this is how you say this line. Say the line this way. We're going to go over here, and this is Instagram. Okay, so.
And I was directing with Eric and also with Jay Kind of Funny, and some people may have taken it the wrong way. So some people's perception of things could make a difference. So what was going on there was our behind the scenes.
We're here with Jay Kind of Funny.
And this is Boom or Doom.
The chicken bake?
Or the double chunk chocolate cookie.
And I also want to say there were 7 of us there recording content that day.
So basically, like, he's coping now over this fucking video that a lot of people are roasting. And it's basically him, like, just being super cringe. And it looks very fake. Like, it's not like he's being an asshole, but it's just, and obviously everyone knows this. These food influencers, it's all just fake garbage. So whatever, man. But the point I'm getting at is, like, they're being made fun of now. Like, their internet fame is dwindling on top of you put out these toys, and it's like, who are these toys for? So this, let's say you're a Rizzler fan and you collect Rizzler shit. Go get this Rizzler U2's doll, and then it says AEW on it, and it's got Big Boom AJ in his wrestling gear. And then maybe some kid goes, hey, mom, I want to check out AEW. And then fucking they see what? Fishbowl drownings and spikes in the back and needles through the cheek and fucking girls and death matches and shit. What the fuck? They have zero marketing strategy. They don't get shit out in time. They don't pull the trigger at the right time on certain champions, and they don't know how to make AEW feel cool. And if a kid goes and buys this doll and their parents are like, well, it's not WWE, let's check out this AEW, or they look it up online and they see some of the shit like the Death Riders are doing, why would this be, hey, we're going to market to kids? You know, a lot of people, you know, sometimes the formatting in WWE shows or some of the characters you see in like WWE shows in the first hour, you're like, oh, why is R-Truth being funny? Or why is like Asuka and Kyrie acting all blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that shit works well with kids, man. They got to market to kids. They like, we know that that's a part of their objective. With AEW, it's like, well, they look like they're trying to market to kids with shit like this, but then they're fucking doing insane shit. What would make any kids stick around and watch the show? It's, I don't know, man. It's definitely just odd. Their marketing is odd. And it hasn't really made sense. And their lead marketing guy just left recently, right? He's like, oh, I'm going on to do my own thing. That's cool. But did you put together these shitty commercials and do all, you know? So this commercial came out. This is the latest AEW Where Wrestlers Work commercial. So let's watch this.
God, Nick Jackson with a 450 splash on the Luchasaurus. Unbelievable. They need you in a meeting. Not now. I'm busy.
And I made the joke. I quote tweeted this and I was like, a 40-year-old adult playing with toys instead of doing his job. What a perfect analogy for AEW. Cook team.
Still the champ.
And like, okay, if you made an ad, again, like the Young Bucks aren't mainstream, and I don't know if this is like a viral campaign. If you did this ad with like Edge or someone like the fans and people at WWE were going, we want Edge, we want Edge. Maybe with like a recognizable guy, okay, this commercial might be funny. But like with the Bucks, what about this guy? If you were to see this commercial come up on your TV, like what about this guy would make you go, oh yeah, like I want to see this guy fight? It's funny that he's playing with toys. You know, like he looks like a 9-year-old with a fucking beard. I don't know. Their marketing's all out of fucking whack. They need a full-blown rebrand. They need to get rid of this multicolored NXT 2.0 shit. They need to fully rebrand everything and like take a hard pause for like 6 months. One good thing they did, Blacksmith have announced official partnership with AEW. The inaugural capsule will feature merch from Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, Darby Allin, and Swerve Strickland. And then Will Ospreay's here for some reason, even though I guess because they made a jersey with him before. But again, like just sticking Kenny Omega in every brand deal. I don't know how cool Kenny Omega is. Willow's a good choice. I think Darby's a good choice, although Darby should be getting like Dirty Dom reactions by this point, and he's just not. He's just not, and it's unfortunate. Swerve as well, but I know that there's a community section of the IWC who like hates on Swerve, and they're like he's a phony and shit, and they don't like when he's like dropping his own shoe and doing rap songs and all this shit. So maybe some people will get mad. They seem to just kind of plug him in wherever there's like a brand deal too. But good for Swerve and good for Blacksmith, and hopefully they make some good apparel. Like if this Bruv jersey here is anything, like that's pretty fresh. If they collabed on that, I mean, like that's fresh. I'm here for it, as Conrad Thompson would say. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the responsibility of these things lie on Tony Khan's shoulders here. And we are on Tony Khan Watch. I don't know if he went live tonight. I actually didn't check. I completely forgot to check. As we've been deading some old bits and introducing some new bits here on the show. No, I don't think he went live. Yeah, this is the last one. We have it here. Tony Khan Watch. I get a notification whenever. No, but Tony Khan's here. He's extremely happy. This was a week ago, but we didn't EFAP this one yet. And Tony Khan went live. This is a segment within a segment, and it is called The Best Guys, Tony Khan. So this one's like 5 minutes here. Let's catch up with Steamboat Tone, see what he's up to.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, this is on Spanksgiving.
Just wanted to take a moment and thank all of you. I'm very grateful for all of you, and thanks to all the great wrestling fans who make it possible for AEW to put on shows 52 weeks a year.
He sounds like he's on the Super Yacht Kismet right now.
Including minutes from right now, tonight. We have a big Thanksgiving AEW Collision, a Thursday Thanksgiving AEW Collision, and it starts in just a few minutes. And I just wanted to stop by. I stepped away from my own Thanksgiving dinner, and we're about to put Collision on here, and I just wanted to say thanks to all of you.
He makes his house guests. He forces his fucking house guests to watch Collision at his house over Thanksgiving. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Isn't there a Jags game on or something? Oh my God. He forces everybody to watch his fucking Collision show at his Thanksgiving.
I'm excited for the show tonight.
I wonder if they had to be chained up in the basement like that one Sicko.
Continue the Continental Classic. We've got some big matches, including a big one in the Blue League with the reigning G1 Climax winner, the reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha, versus Roderick Strong. two former international champions and two top AEW stars battling in the Blue League tonight. Also a great Gold League match I can't wait to watch. Coming up just minutes from right now, Pac versus Speedball Bailey. Mike Bailey versus Pac. What a great match. There are so many things I'm looking forward tonight. Ty Mello versus the Toxic Spider, Tekla. I think that's going to be a fantastic one-on-one match. Of course, Tekla representing the Triangle of Madness, Ty Mello representing TJ. That'll be fantastic. Looking forward to that. Also, a grudge match between
the Triangle of Madness, which also has the Sisters of Sin in it. Like, just pick one name and make them stick. But what about when they're in a tag team together? Who gives a fuck?
Daddy Magic and his former protege, Danny Garcia of the Death Riders. That should be really exciting. And I'm really stoked and pumped up about Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori Shibata tonight on AEW Collision. That's going to be a great one. Two of the top wrestlers wrestling tonight on a Thanksgiving on TNT and HBO Max. It starts just minutes from now, and we've got a big week. We had a Thanksgiving Eve AEW Dynamite last night. We've got a Thanksgiving AEW Collision starting in just a couple minutes. Get ready for that tonight. And, of course, tomorrow we'll have a Black Friday episode of ROH. We're just a week away from Final Battle. And a couple weeks ago on Collision, we had a great main event. And we saw the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito score a pin over one half of the World Tag Team Champions in ROH, Roosh. And Roosh is also a former ROH World Champion himself. And Roosh had made it clear he wanted to go after Bandito. He had a big grudge with him now. And Roosh was angling and lobbying to challenge Bandito for the championship. And after some medical exams,
So
Roosh
you have the ROH title being defended on fucking AEW, and you have the AEW national title being defended on ROH. What is happening?
Knee injury. Roosh is not going to be able to challenge Bandito for the championship. I am going to instead ask Roosh to take some time to heal up. As a result, first of all, Roosh and Sammy Guevara will not be able to defend the tag team championship. So on ROH tomorrow, I'll address that. But also, Roosh will not be able to challenge Bandito for the championship at Final Battle as we originally had expected. So what we're going to have is one of the most exciting matches in ROH, Survival of the Fittest. I can't wait for a Survival of the Fittest on ROH next Friday with Bandito defending the ROH World Championship against Commander Hechicero.
Hechicero, the best guy. Those whatever they're called in ROH, Final Destination match or whatever. It's like a gauntlet match essentially. It's basically just the casino gauntlet, but I think the rules are I think it's elimination though. Like you have to pin to eliminate. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but either way, the last one he booked, people loved it. I enjoyed it too. I actually thought it was booked really well until the end. He convoluted the finish up, but they had the crowd like monster popping for. And it's like hard to admit Evil Uno's still in fucking AEW. Dark Order is still in AEW. What's going on here?
Two members of LFI both trying to vie for not only to take that spot that Roosh was lined up to take.
Tekla rules. We are watching Dynamite if you're watching this in a clip form. Time cop. But yeah, Tekla fucking rules. Her promos rock. Her group rules. I love everything about Tekla.
As a challenger for Bandito, but also that will be angling to keep the tag team championships in LFI, and that is Sammy Guevara and Beast Mortos. And when you've got great challengers for Bandito like Commander, Hechicero, Sammy Guevara, and Beast Mortos, there's also a man who's undefeated in singles matches in ROH this year and deserves a championship match on the big stage, and that's the Vanilla Baby Blake Christian. So we're going to have a great Survival of the Fittest.
The Vanilla Baby Blake Christian.
We will have to address the tag team championships in ROH, but it's going to be a great final battle. I cannot wait for Athena versus Persephone. We saw Persephone and her team score a big
So he's a little more lively. He's trying not to be so cringe, and it is only 5 minutes. So he's cut his time in half. Good job, Tony Khan. Clearly listening to PWT.
Big win in Arena Mexico over.
Again, though, he's always in a bathroom. He's like in the bathroom hiding away from his family. I got to quickly lie and tell them we're going to watch Collision when we're not. Hold on. I'll just be in my room, in my private bathroom for a minute. Shad Khan's like, Tony, are you okay in there forever? Tony's like, yes, father, I'm coming. Quick, my dad's here. It's my bedtime right away, guys. I gotta get going. Shh, don't tell him that I said that. We're all gonna be watching Collision. That was a lie. We're watching the Cringe, but
Athena and Red Velvet. Speaking of Red Velvet, I know she is anxious to get that TV title back around her waist, and she wants a rematch with Mercedes. They had a great match in AEW, and I think it would be something to really consider. So a lot of things in ROH happening and tons of stuff happening in AEW. The Continental Classic, Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament. So many great things happening. We're going to have a great Thanksgiving.
So great.
And I cannot wait for this Collision. It starts in just a few minutes. Turn your TVs now, TNT and HBO Max. I'll see you very soon. Thank you for spending your Thanksgiving with AEW. Thank you for supporting us. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the wrestlers and the staff of AEW. God bless you all. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, and see you in a few minutes for AEW Collision tonight.
The tonight catchphrase too. See you in a few minutes tonight. Like he's trying to make it a sign off. Like I get what he's doing. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news right there. Round of applause for AEW news. That's going to be the new round of applause sound on the soundboard for AEW news. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony Khan.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
And absolutely amazing. You guys know what
Sometimes
they say.
in life, you got to be a hoe.